Hello. In a previous video, I talked about the injustice of the idea of eternal damnation. And the idea of eternal damnation arose because people wanted to believe that there was justice in the world. They saw that some people were better off than others, even though they didn't actually deserve to be better off. For example, bad people might enjoy wealth and prosperity in this life, while good people may suffer in this life. And the idea of heaven and hell tells people that in the afterlife, the good people will be rewarded, the bad people will be punished, and so there is justice in the world. But the idea of eternal damnation was, in some ways, profoundly unjust, because the punishment was very, very disproportionate to what people were actually doing. And in other religions besides Christianity, there is a different idea of how there is justice in the world. And this idea is called karma. Karma is common to Hinduism. It's also believed by many people who are into New Age religions. And the idea behind karma is that what you have done in the past stays with you in some way. And so if you do something bad in the past, bad things may happen to you. If you do good things may happen to you. And so what is happening to you, whether good or for bad, is basically a result of what you've done in the past. So if good things are happening to you, it's because you were a good person in the past. If bad things are happening to you, it's because you were a bad person in the past. And certainly this does seem more proportional, more than eternal damnation does. And with karma, bad people are not being punished disproportionately greater than they deserve. And the good people still have some karma to work out. They're not just rewarded with instant heaven and bliss. But people, according to how good or how bad they are, have a certain amount of karma, and that carries with them, and they have to work off their bad karma as they're living their lives from one life to another through reincarnation. However, there are still some problems with the idea of karma. One is there is no evidence that karma actually exists. Yes, there is cause and effect. Sometimes if you do bad things, your bad actions will catch up to you. We can see this in the lives of some people. And also, if you do good things, you may be rewarded for what you're doing. We do see this going on in individual people's lives. But of course, the idea of karma goes beyond what you can see in an individual person's life, because it's trying to give people the sense that there is justice in the world beyond what actually happens to people based on what they're actually doing. So sometimes bad things are going to happen to good people. Sometimes good things are going to happen to bad people. And that is not providing evidence. That's providing evidence against the idea of karma. And we can only bring in the karma by appealing to some supernatural cause for why karma exists. Karma cannot be simply because I punched you in the face, you got angry, and you punched me back. That's not karma. That's simple cause and effect. And I believe in cause and effect. I believe in simple cause and effect. That when you do things, they have consequences. And if you're wise, you're going to act with some knowledge what the consequences of your actions are likely to be. For example, if you want people to like you, it's best not to fight with them or get in arguments with them or call them names or whatever. It's best to conduct yourself in a way that's going to bring about the consequences that you want. So yes, there is no evidence that karma actually exists. Even if reincarnation is true and we carry karma from our past lives, for the most part, we don't remember our past lives. Secondly, by what means of cause and effect would our past lives even be affecting our present lives? If we don't have any memory of the past lives, it's not the memory of the past lives that's causing anything in the present life. Now, on the other hand, we may suppose reincarnation is not true. You have some delusion that you had a past life, and you have certain false memories about this past life, and these false memories are affecting your life. That's entirely plausible. But that would not be proof of reincarnation. Okay, another problem with karma is that it can be used to control other people. Just as the idea of heaven and hell can be used to control people, the idea of karma can be used to control people. For example, take the caste system from Hinduism. People are born into certain castes in Hinduism, and the common excuse for this is you are born into the caste you are born into because of your karma in a previous life. And so because of that, you should stay in that caste, and this gives the people who are in charge control over the society that's based on castes. Also, with this idea of a karmic debt, that's very similar to the idea of a financial debt. A financial debt can be used to control people. I'm in debt from my student loans, and I'm still paying those off, and as long as I'm paying those off, I don't have as much money as I would like to have. And that limits what I can do. Now, if you tell people that they have a karmic debt, if they're convinced that they have to pay off some debt based on what they did in their past life, that gives you a means for controlling those people, especially if you can present yourself as some kind of authority over what kind of karmic debts they have. Then you can get people to do what you want them to do. Also, the idea of karma is a cop-out. I used to know a person whose life was falling apart, and she blamed what was happening in her life on her karma. She believed that in a past life she was an assassin, and because of that, bad things were happening to her in this life. What I believed was that there was simple cause and effect going on. She often got into arguments with people. She often put people off in various ways. She was a very unpleasant person to be with. And I believe this was what was causing bad things to happen in her life. It was alienating her from people, causing people not to really care about her, and so on. Making enemies left and right, basically, because of the way she was treating people through simple cause and effect. But she believed that she was morally spotless. She believed she was a very good moral person in this life, and that was in her past life that she was a bad person. And so she was failing to recognize what she was doing that was making her bad things happen to her in her present, and instead blaming it on something she had no control over, what she allegedly had done in a past life. And because she was doing this, she was unable to take control of her life and to turn it around into a direction she would like it to go. Because she was just assuming that everything bad that was happening to her was based on the past, a past life that she had no present control over. So, there's no evidence for karma. It can be used to control other people, and it's a cop-out that can keep you from taking control of your own life. So for these reasons, I think it's better to act as though there is no such thing as karma. In fact, there may be no such thing as karma. And even if there is such a thing as karma, even if there is such a thing as reincarnation, and we carry karma from one life to another, there's no one who is really competent to tell us what our karma is. We can't depend on gurus or other people to tell us with any kind of authority whether we have bad karma or not. So the best thing we can do for ourselves is recognize cause and effect. Recognize what effect our present actions are having on our life, and change our actions if we need to change the effects that they're having on our life. And this is in much the same lines as Buddhism goes. Buddhism was a reform of Hinduism, which discarded the caste system and many other aspects of Hinduism. And Buddhism focused not on what you had done in a past life to cause what's happening to you in your present life, even though reincarnation did become part of some Buddhism in some respects. But initially, Buddha was focusing on what are you doing presently in your present life that's causing your suffering. The idea is you have various attachments in your present life, and these attachments are causing your suffering. And these attachments may simply be part of your psychology. Whatever effect your past life has is inconsequential. We don't have to worry about that. Buddhism was very empirical, looking at what you're actually doing, what effects that's having on your state of mind, and what you can do to change those effects by changing what you are doing. And I'm not saying you have to follow Buddhism here. I'm not advocating Buddhism here. Buddhism is nice and certainly has some good ideas in it. But what I am saying is you should pay attention to the consequences that your actions have. Focus mainly on cause and effect. Don't worry about karma. If you focus on cause and effect, you will appreciably improve your life much more easily than you would by focusing on karma. So, what do you think about karma? Let me know in the comments below.